So, with that being said, today is Thursday. We're doing a Hatha practice. Um, as of right now, there's nothing scheduled for next week or into the future. So, this might be my last class for a while. Still figuring out what that all means. So, I appreciate you guys being here. I know it's weird because I can't see you and we're not interacting, but I do really like to know that there's other people on the side of the screen and I'm not just doing this for myself. So, all right, so we are going to get started. Again, I'm going to start the practice today with a little reading. So it's a little bit different, but just get into a comfortable position. It can be on your back or a seated position. We're going to transition into seated afterwards, but if you're feeling like just a little lackluster or you're not having as much energy and you want to lie on your back, you can do that as well. So I'm going to just turn the music down a little bit. May or may not hear the music. Laura, I hope the class continues as well, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. As of right now, tomorrow is my last day teaching for a little while, so we're going to see what happens. But yes, I appreciate you all being here. Go ahead, find your comfortable position. Like I said, I'm not sure what's happening after this, so I might be a little bit out of sorts. My emotions are all over the place, but it's okay. I'm glad you're here. All right, so find your seated position. I will go down and get seated. I just want to make sure that everything is in the frame here. Back stretch. Ooh, I want to get some twists in. So we're going to do that. We are going to focus on the lower body. So for those of you who just joined, but yeah, find. Ooh, I'm a little shaky. Make sure you guys can see what's going on here. You guys don't need to see my bookcase. Okay, so finding where your comfortable seat is, again, it can be on your back or in a seated position, whatever's going to work best for you. All right, so starting from your comfortable seat, hopefully you have some water or something for your practice. You can have that near you. Again, if you're on your back, that will work just as well. So for our intention today, the reason I don't usually bring quotes into class is because I get nervous and my mouth or my speech gets a little bit more rapid when I'm reading quotes. So I'm going to try my best here. But take a few moments to settle into your seated position. Find a long spine. Take a few open mouth exhales as you let go of your day. Letting go of any nervousness, any energy that isn't going to serve you throughout your practice. And the quote for today is going to be by Steve Maraboli. I think that's how you pronounce his name. As you close your eyes and focus on your breath, maybe let this intention sink in and see how it might relate to you and your practice, maybe your life outside of the mat. So renew, release, let go. Yesterday is gone. There's nothing you can do to bring it back. You can't should have done something. You can only do something. Renew yourself. Allow yourself to release that attachment because today is a new day. If I had to pick one thing that most depletes personal energy and wastes time on a massive scale, it would be regret. Let's make a pact to offer up all of our should haves, all of our should not haves, if onlys, release any regrets we are clinging on to for that which has gone before. Let's commit to bringing the gentle, compassionate energy of our inner god or goddess and fierce determination of our inner warrior to our activities of this day. So again, letting that sink in, let your mind assimilate that into your life, into your practice. Again, the should haves, the should not haves, the if onlys, giving yourself an opportunity to release those as the past is in the past. Allowing yourself to be comforted by the fact that you can't change it. No amount of rumination will change the past. No amount of anxiety will change the future. Just sitting within this space that you've created for yourself as you focus on your breath. With each exhale, gradually releasing, again, bringing that compassionate energy into the body. With your intention in mind, allowing yourself the 3 deepest breaths you've taken all day long. your third breath. If you are lying on your back, you can gradually make your way onto your side, mindfully moving towards the seated position. If you're already in your seated position, find the length in the spine as you just keep the eyes closed or bring the gaze down and lengthen upward. Get as long as possible throughout the spine. Reaching the crown of the head upward, letting the shoulders release towards the pelvis. Bringing the belly button in towards the spine, so again you can find that strength, that compassion, that connectedness to your inner warrior, your inner self, your inner guru. All the wisdom, all of what you need is within you already. And as you believe that and allow yourself to receive that, bring the chin towards the chest, allowing the neck to be long as you bow to the body. Taking note of any aches or pains, areas of tension as you flow into the body, moving each ear to each shoulder. Again, you can move the neck, the shoulders, the spine. As you begin to explore the body, you might take the weight over and around. Just giving yourself an opportunity to move and shift and hold if you need to. Can you guys hear me? Hold on one second. I just was told that there's no sound. Hopefully you can hear me. Yours is working. Oh, okay. Joe just says no sound. Laura says it's working. So I'm hoping that that's just an individual phone issue or something. Okay, but yeah, if anyone else is having issues with the sound, it's working. Okay, cool. So coming into, again, from your seated position. All right, I'm going to take a breath. I can recalibrate. All right, so from your seated position, have one leg crossed in front of the other if it's comfortable. Otherwise, extend the legs out. Moving the body all the way over to the side, keeping the right sit bone down to the ground as you move over to the left. And lengthen upward, up and over to the right. And moving a little bit side to side as you feel at the side of the neck. You might look down or up. Keeping the opposite arm relaxed and released to the opposite, or towards the ground. Open up the side of the shoulders. You might roll up, back, and down. And then switching your opposite leg to be in front. We'll do that same thing. Just alternate from side to side a couple times. Rounding through center, the back of the neck long. All the way up and around, maybe roll the opposite direction for the shoulders. And extending the legs all the way out to the side, coming into your wide-legged straddle just to warm. Again, we're going to work into the hips a little bit, but starting with the spine, take an inhale, reach both arms up. Exhale as you twist over to the left, right arm comes to the outside of the knee, keeping the spine right over the top of the pelvis. So the body wants to shift forward, usually just to get a deeper twist. But see if you can keep everything right over the top of the pelvis. And inhale as you reach back through center. Exhale, twist, opposite direction. Again, chest is lifted, shoulder blades back and down. Working the gaze towards the back of the space. You might start to feel that into the inner thighs depending on how wide your legs are. And release back to center. Shake out the legs a little bit if you need to come in. Depending on how open you are, you're going to slowly walk the body forward. So reaching the fingertips, keep the spine long. Keep the chest reaching forward with the shoulder blades back and down. You might bring your forearms down. You might let your fists come underneath the head if your fold feels like it needs some support. Or if you want, just relax the head down, maybe shifting side to side. Again, as you move the neck, move the shoulders. And hands underneath you, rolling back up a neutral spine. So you have the long spine, soles of the feet together, grab the outsides of the ankles, pressing the knees away. So again, you can take this into a fold if you'd like, or if you just prefer having the pressure on the knees to open up the back of the sacrum. And release back into your seated position. Right leg stays in, taking the left leg back behind, finding your Z-sit. Bring the shin forward so it's parallel to the front of your mat. Just going to be rounding up and over to the right. So right shin is down, right hand is down, reaching up and forward with the left arm as you press the hips forward. This is a spinal twist as well as a side opener, pressing through the front of the hip flexors. You can press this as much as you feel you need to. We're just going to hold here. Let gravity take the weight of the body, still pressing the knee down towards the earth. I'm going to make sure you guys can hear me. I can hear you. Perfect. Okay, so again, you have this pressing forward position. The heel is forward. Round it back down towards the earth, coming back into a neutral spine. Might need to move that out a little bit. If you're feeling tight in the front of the hips, we'll switch to the opposite direction. Your left shin is forward, left hand is down. Right arm is going to swing up and forward, reaching back behind you. You might even turn the body towards the sky as you press your right hip forward. Opening up the side body, get the stretch that feels best for you. And again, let gravity take over. If there's any resistance within the body, just releasing. Allow your exhale to bring you a little bit deeper. And again, hip comes back, body comes forward. Finding the sits bones down to the earth. You might feel a little bit of reconnection with the spine. So coming back to a neutral position, shift and move. Round it out. We are going to be going into our cat-cow, but taking the soles of the feet flat to the ground to do a cat-cow from here. With the soles of the feet flat to the ground, inhale as you open, gazing upward. Shoot your shoulder blades back as you gaze down or gaze up. Holding onto the back of the knees. Exhale as you round it down as far as you're comfortable. Let your body take, let gravity take the weight of your body. So you're just holding on, allowing the shoulders to stretch. You might even bring your gaze at an angle upward. If it feels better to keep the chin towards the chest, you can round out the back of the neck. And one more time, inhale as you open. Take a moment to arch. Shoulder blades back and down. Reach the heart forward. Exhale, round it back. Shoulder blades reaching as far as you're comfortable with. Again, let gravity take the weight. Your hands are holding you here and steady. Figure out what you need for your neck, what spaces you need to explore. And again, we're finding our compassion within the body and within the mind, the heart, the emotions, everything. Let yourself release those expectations for the body and just come into where you're at today. Now slowly coming back up. If your wrists are feeling any tension, roll it out. Extend both legs forward. Just going to come into one more forward fold. Allowing the body to relax towards the leg, lengthen through the spine. You might use your hands to pull you a little bit closer to the legs, if that feels okay for you. And then resting, let your heart rest, let the back of your heart rest, the back of the spine, which supports you throughout your day. See if you can just allow the bones to be heavy over the legs. And hands under shoulders, rolling back up the spine. We're going to flip all the way around so that you're on the belly. I'm going to face towards this direction, finding your prone position where you're on your belly and your hips. Starting out from Sphinx pose, press the elbows in, pull the chin towards the chest, and then bring each ear to each shoulder. So the chin stays in, and you're working the crown of the head forward as you bring each ear to each shoulder. And then rounding all the way around. Figure out how far you want to go into the back space. Try not to crunch the back of the neck. And you can look left, right, up and down, all the way around. We are going to take this into a little twist for the shoulders. So make sure you're not holding the tension in the neck. Your left arm is going to come out to the side. Let the shoulder come down. Keep the top of the shoulder down on the earth. Bringing your left ear down to the earth as well. Right hand under your shoulder, right knee bends. Once you have everything relaxing towards the earth, use your right hand to press the hip up and back, reaching up and over. So again, this is for the hip flexor. It's also for the shoulders. Decide how you need to have your left hand, if you need to move it closer to the front of the space. Figure out where you need to open up the pectoral muscles, into the shoulders, into the delts. Again, it might just depend on where you're feeling some tension here. And then slowly bring a bend back into the right knee. Take your hand underneath you, both hands underneath you. Right leg coming out to the side. So once your leg's out to the side, your knee is coming a little bit higher than your hip and then lowering down. Lowering down into this position, open up the inner thigh, move through the hip. You might shift a little bit side to side. Now hands underneath your shoulders, extend the leg out to straight. You have right leg straight, left leg back behind you. Take an inhale as you press the hip down, pressing up into your cobra position. So you have a wide-legged cobra. If this is too much, bring a bend back into the knee. You might just keep the knee bent. And slowly lower it down. Take the left arm back out to the side, left ear to the earth. That same leg's coming back around. You're just going to move through that. So the toes reach, and then you bring the bend back into the knee. Shift it over to the side, both hands down. Inhale as you press up, knee bent. Exhale, lower. Extend the leg to straight if that feels all right for you. Inhale, press it up. And exhale to lower. Use both hands this time to press into the ground and pull the knee all the way in. Step it forward. Right leg is now forward. You have that low lunge. Pressing your left hip bone down towards the ground. Take an inhale as you reach. Exhale if a back bend feels okay here. Find that back bend. Inhale, straighten the front leg. You now have your hamstring stretch. Pull the toes back. Exhale, fold over. Take your time here. So first intense hamstring stretch. So you might pull your toes back, press the heel down, lower and down towards the ground. And bend back into that knee, coming back into your low lunge with your right leg forward. Moving the foot all the way over like you're about to go into pigeon pose. So it's going into the left side. And then just let your knee come down and up. So you're opening up through the IT band, into the glute. Not going into the full pigeon pose yet unless you're feeling super open and comfortable there. But just moving and opening, and then reach your foot or bring your foot back in towards the center, all the way to the opposite side, lower down. Forearms down to the earth. I don't know if you could hear that. My dog is in here dreaming right now, so he's making all the funny noises. Now hands underneath you, bring your foot back down towards the back of the mat, coming into your tabletop position. Shift your right hip all the way over to the right. Let the hip come down towards the ground. And left hip towards the ground. Continuing a couple times side to side. And then lowering back down towards the earth. Coming back into Sphinx pose. We'll reset the spine, this time taking a bend into the knees and letting your knees go a little bit left and right to reset the low back. And again, press away, let your shoulders stay down as your chin comes towards your chest. Going left, going right, up and down. Just take whatever you need. It might be rolling around, gazing upward. And then shifting the right arm over to the side. Shoulder, top of the shoulder stays down. Left hand underneath you, right ear down. Left knee bends as you lift, keeping the shoulder down, reach up and over. Again, your hip is going to press towards the opposite space as your toes reach to the right. Maybe you move your right hand closer to the front of the space. Just breathing into whatever stretch you feel you need for your shoulder, for your spine, for your hip. And hands coming back in, the knee comes back around. Again, take the knee, bend it in. Use both hands to support you as you press the knee down, the hip stays down, open up the inner thigh. And lower, shoulders back down to the earth if you want. Extend the leg out, bottom of the foot on the ground. Inhale as you press up. And lower. Take that bend back into the knee. Open up through the shoulder, right hand goes down, right ear down, lift back up through the knee to reach to the right. Once you're reaching to the right, slowly come back. So it's a quick movement, bringing it back in towards the body. Hands under shoulders, inhale, press up cobra. Exhale, lower, extend, leg goes to straight. Inhale, press it up. And lower back down. It's time to press up and away from the earth. Move your foot. Left foot now goes down towards the ground. Right hip presses forward. Pressing the hip forward. Get that stretch through the pelvis. Tuck the tailbone underneath you. Inhale, both arms up. Exhale, back bend. If it feels okay to press the hip forward just a little bit more. And inhale, straighten the front leg. Heel down, toes back, fold it forward. Find that forward fold. Relax the back of the pelvis. If you're feeling some tension one side versus the other, try to even it out. Belly button towards the thigh. And again, bend back into the front knee. Left knee is now bent, reaching the foot over to the side like you're about to do pigeon pose, working into the hip a little bit side to side. So you might shift it down and back up, forward and back into straight. An IT band into the glute, whatever it is you need. And slowly heel toe that foot over to the left edge of your mat. Left foot is forward, lowering down. Maybe it's the forearms, maybe the hands stay down. Whatever you are resisting within the hip flexor, just work on the pelvis first. It's not about getting the shoulders down to the earth. We are going to be doing humble warrior later, so this is helping to open up the hips for that. And then slowly bring your foot back towards the ground. Let your hips go all the way over to the left, all the way over to the right. Alternate from side to side, going through a couple cat-cows, or sorry, 3. We're going to do 3 cat-cows. Inhale as you let the belly fall, arch and open. Exhale, round. Tuck the tailbone underneath you, and then pull back to your child's pose. Inhale, coming forward, arch and open. Exhale, round. Let that energy pull you back towards your heels. And again, inhale, open. Exhale, round it back, pull into your child's pose and let yourself rest here for a moment. Knees can be wide if you want to, toes together as you walk the body forward, relaxing the low back, reaching through the fingertips. You can open up the sides of the rib cage, open up the shoulders. And then hands underneath you, bring your knees together. If you brought them wide, coming into your spinal twist in your cat or into your tabletop position. So left hand staying down, twist and open to the right. Holding here for a moment. If the hip shifts over, pull it back. Core is engaged. Exhale, release. Palm facing up. Your right shoulder is down. You might press away from the earth to get a deeper twist into the low back. If you'd like to go into that bind, you can take the opposite arm behind, working towards the hip. And again, press away from the ground, shift it out, move through the shoulders, the hips, the neck. Opposite direction, right hand stays down, twist and open to the left. Again, the hips want to shift, engage the core. Exhale, release it through, thread the needle, palm face up. And again, bringing the body back, coming into your tabletop position. Take some time to roll through the shoulders, roll through the neck. We're going to move through a little flow that is incorporating partial sun salute. So tuck your toes, take your weight back to press into the heels, press the front of the mat away from you. So you can see from here, it's like I'm in child's pose. My head is down, pressing the hips back. Try to keep your knees together so you can press to the center of the back of the ankle. Now from here, keeping your head low, arms extended, press the hips up to come into your down dog. It might be a shortened down dog depending on how close your tabletop was. And then again, sit back down, hips towards the ground, press it back. Press the heels down, hips towards the sky. 2 more times, bend and extend. Try to keep the whole upper body lengthened. Bend. This is the last one. Extend. Find your downward facing dog. Shift it out. You might move the hips a little bit side to side. Walk out the feet. Bend through the knees. Shift the arms. You might come forward or back. This is your opportunity to press what you need to press through. And once you have your downward facing dog, shifting forward, coming into plank. Knees or toes, exhale, lower. Press it forward, shoulders back and down, cobra. Maybe up dog if you want to come off the ground. Exhale, pull it back, down dog. 2 more times, shift forward to plank and lower. Press it up and pull it back down dog. Last one, plank and lower. Press up, cobra or up dog, back to down dog. Once you have your downward facing dog, again, take some time to walk out what needs to be walked out. And then separate your feet so that they're all the way to the edges of the mat. And then walking back into your forward fold. Once you have your forward fold, your hips are a little bit wider, your feet are a little bit wider, you can grab on, walking over to the right leg. And back through center, walk over to left leg. And back through center. Once you're back through center, since we're working into hamstrings and glutes, start to shift the weight forward, almost as if you're going back into that wide-legged down dog, so that the hips are right over the top of the heels. You're going to feel the back of the ankles press down, the calves are tightening, the back of the knees are tightening, reaching just a little bit further. Find where you need to stretch here. Opening up, wide-legged fold. And then slowly walking forward again, find your plank. Exhale, lower down with wide legs. Wide legs still there. Inhale, press up, cobra. Exhale, down dog. From down dog, walk it back. Wide-legged forward fold. Hands to hips. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Right hand stays down as you bend the right knee. And open up to the left. So right now, right knee bent, right hand down, twist open to the left. Release, let your hand come down, straighten both legs, shift it out, move through the shoulders, through the neck, let your head dangle. Shifting to the other side, left hand stays down, left knee bends, and you might bring your hand wherever you need to bring it to twist open with the right arm. And again, hand comes down, find your way through center, shift and wiggle. Heel toe the feet all the way together so that the insides of the big toes are touching. Take a bend into the knees as you lift forward through the ankles. So heels, insides of the heels together as you pull forward through the front of the ankles, open up. Heels come back down into your forward fold. 2 more times, lift it up and lower. And last one. Heels down, you're at the back of the mat, walk it forward. Now your feet are together for your position, or for your flow. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, press up, cobra, maybe up dog. Exhale, feet together, down dog. Separate the feet so they're back to hip distance apart. Drop your knees. From your tabletop position, flip the fingertips, face them towards the body, pull it back. Open up the wrists, take your head from side to side. And then hands coming back forward. They're going to be here to support you as your right leg goes out to the side. Left knee is bent, pull back, one-legged child's pose. From one-legged child's pose, you can open this up, you can stay here, or you can shift it forward as you let your hips come over the knees and extend the leg out. It's like doing 1/2 of your center splits. So opening up, let your hips press down. And hands underneath you, press away, pull the foot back in, bend the knee as you shift it forward, coming as your this is not tabletop. This is your lunge. Find your lunge, untuck your back foot. Again, shift the hips down. This time the knee is off the ground and back. Inhale, both arms up. Exhale, maybe there's a back bend there. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale to release. Move the foot all the way through. Right leg now is reaching through. You have the foot towards the edge of the mat. Now send your hip down. You're coming to the outside of the hip, right hip towards the earth. And press it back up, twist to open. Right arm is down, left arm twists up. Now press your hips. And release. Hand comes back down. Bring the foot back underneath you. Find your lunge. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, open up, warrior two. You have your warrior two, move your heel in front of the back arch. Inhale, front arm presses you forward. Exhale to hinge, extended side angle. You can take your elbow to knee here if you'd like. And cartwheel the arm all the way down. Take your back heel off the ground as you move the foot outward just a little bit. Now you have your split stance, taking the hands behind the back, clasp. Once you have your split stance, press it up. Knuckles are pressing towards the back leg. Open up, lift up through the heart, and slowly let your shoulders shift forward, come to the inside of the leg. You might even bring your arms towards the front of the space. Humble warrior. And swing the arms all the way through. Inhale. Exhale to release. Right now your right leg is forward. Left leg is back. Let your left knee come back down towards the ground. Open up, back to the side like we started, and walk your left hand out to the side. Right now your left hand is on the ground, coming into a side gate pose. Reach up and over. Option, arch it back. And round back down towards the earth, coming into your one-legged child's pose. So the back where we started, one-legged child's pose. Take a couple deep breaths. Again, letting go, give your body some compassion, letting go of the past. Whatever that means to you. It could be the past that you've had with your body, the past relationship you've had with your body. Allow that to be in the past as you start fresh, start new today. And then again, sinking back, come back into your tabletop, shift it out. We are going to do the other side. If you'd like to grab a drink, I forgot hot water. If you'd like to grab a drink before we do the other side, you can do that. Otherwise, just finding your way to tabletop position so we can sink into the other leg. Other leg is going to go out to the side. Find your one-legged child's pose. So left leg is out, right knee is back, or right foot is back. Find your one-legged child's pose just to open it up. Whole foot is down to the ground here. So my whole left foot, pinky toe and big toe are down. And starting from here, if you would like to, bring your hips forward so it's right over the top of the knee and start to extend that leg out to the side. Again, it's like a 1/2 center split. Open up the inner thigh. Let your hip rest down. And it might just be some alternating forward and back if that's what your body needs here. I prefer when I'm going into the inner thigh stretch to just find stillness because there's usually a lot of resistance for me and my body specifically. And again, hands under shoulders. Press yourself away, pull the leg back in. Bring a bend into the knee as you shift it forward. Shifting into that plank, into your lunge. Finding the lunge, untuck the toes, take the knee off the ground, let your right hip sink back down. Taking an inhale as you reach the arms up. Exhale, maybe there's a back bend. Inhale, back into center. Exhale, open up, warrior two. So again, you're finding your inner warrior in this practice. So find what it is you need to feel strengthened, to feel grounded, to extend through the fingertips. Then inhale as that front arm reaches you forward. Exhale, open up to extended side angle. You find your arm on the inside or arm on the bottom. You can even bring this arm towards the front of the space. And again, lifting up through the arm if you brought it forward. Let your hand come down to the inside. Move the foot out. Left foot forward, right leg back. Heel comes back up towards the sky. So you're squaring it off, moving that foot out just a little bit. Take your weight off of your front leg so you can clasp. Woo. Take your arms back and then clasp. Find the clasp within the hands as you lift up. The knuckles pressing down towards your back straight leg. Open up through the heart, still pressing the hip down. And on your own time, with that foot separated, you have your split stance, coming into humble warrior. Shoulder comes down, maybe the arms come forward. And And swing back down, release the hands towards the ground, move the foot. Left foot now is going to the right edge of your mat. Continue it through, all the way through so your foot's in line with where your hip is at, and then lower the hip down towards the ground. Get that stretch through the side of the leg. Flexion in the foot of your left leg. And now lift the hips back up. You have your feet supporting you. Let your back heel come down as you twist it open. Fallen triangle. Lifting up and open. And release. Hand comes back down. Take that bend back into the knee. Shift your feet so that you're squared back off. And move the foot, drop your back knee. Move the foot back out to the side. Again, coming back into your one-legged child's pose like we began. Foot's back out to the side into our gate pose. Right hand goes out to the side. Open, up and over to the right. Reaching, again, option to walk the hand back a little bit. And arch the spine so that the belly button comes forward and the fingertips reach back behind you. And again, allow the body to come back down. Both hands here supporting you. Let your hips shift just a little bit. Our next movement that we're going to be doing is camel pose. So shake out the body, take some time to move through whatever it is you need to move through. You're going to come to your seated position to start, taking your hands behind you as you press the heel of the hand down. If this is enough for your quads, you can start here. Otherwise, if you'd like to lift the hips, press the knees down, open up through the front of the quads, through the hip flexors. The heart is lifted, so try not to let your shoulders sink in. Lifting up, keep your gaze upward. So I know you're watching a video right now, but with your spine extended in this way, try to just keep your gaze straight up. And then chin to chest, let your hips come back down, coming all the way up onto the knees. Once you're up onto the knees, you can choose which camel pose is going to work best for you. Keep the toes tucked under to give yourself a little bit more space to grab onto the heel. You can keep the tops of the feet down. You can grab onto the back of the glutes or the low back, whatever is going to work best for your spine today. Elbows in, lift up through the heart, press the hips forward. So if you're coming off your balance a little bit, try to keep your feet planted. Pressing the hips float forward. You can choose to have one arm go back, grab the heel, maybe the opposite arm lifts up, or you can choose to have both arms go back, still pressing the hips forward, lifting up through the heart. And if you're just doing one arm, that's totally fine. I'm going to let you know when we're halfway done. You can switch to the opposite arm gently. So coming into your camel pose, if you need to go in and out of it a couple times, if you find the position you've chosen is a little too intense, come up. And if you were doing that one side, you can switch to the opposite side. Again, maybe the one hand is back, the opposite arm lifts. And again, a couple more breaths here, just to keep it even for both sides if you were doing one side at a time. Find your breath, keep your chin lifted. I know your neck, usually the neck will start to strain here because it's not used to keeping the head supported in the back space. But it is going to help to strengthen the back of the neck as well. And slowly walking up, if you brought your hands all the way down, coming up into your normal position. Before making any other movements, just let your spine rest. Breathe into both sides of the spine equally. If your pelvis needs to settle down for a moment, you can do that. Bring your pelvis back to neutral, sitting down towards your heels. Take a couple deep breaths, lengthening the spine, relaxing the shoulders away from the ears. And again, this is where you can allow yourself, with that open-hearted posture, you can allow yourself to let go. Whatever doesn't keep your heart open, whatever starts to close it, those regrets, those ruminations, allowing yourself to be present with that feeling of expansion, of unlimited possibilities. And shoulders come back in towards the body. From here, we're going to bring the chin towards the chest. So just a gentle movement through the back of the neck. Try not to force it. If you need to move a little side to side, you can do that. Now continuing into the hips, We have our kneeling position. We're gonna come back up onto the knees, take a bend into your right leg and bring it forward, then move your foot over to the edge. You can use your hands here to support you as you cross the ankle over. Figure four. So when you have your figure four, your ankle wants to be behind your knee. If you can, move your back knee forward so you can get that shin to line up with the front of the mat. If you've done this with me in class before, you might recognize it. Pressing the hips forward. It's a figure four, like a camel pose. You can grab onto the back of the pelvis, press it forward. You can even clasp the hands if it feels good. Just try not to go too deep into the low back because there is a little bit of compression into the back of the pelvis here. So try not to do too much for your body. And slowly come back to a neutral spine. Let your hip relax. Hands come down towards the earth. Now scoot your knees all the way together. You have your right leg crossed over the top of the left. Separate the feet. Your feet are separated and sit in between your heels, coming into a cow face pose. So if this didn't work for you, just let it go. Pretend you're seated. Come into a seated position. Left leg stays in, right leg crosses over. You can have your sole of your foot down to the ground, or you can work towards getting one knee right on top of the other with your heels in towards your pelvis. The last variation would be to bring your shins into a straight line. So they line up with each other. The pinky toe side of the foot would be down. So finding your lengthened spine. If your right leg's on top, your right hip wants to pop up. Try to press that back down right through the center of the spine and lower into your cow face pose. You do have the option to add some arms here if you'd like. Taking your left arm in, right arm underneath, crossing into eagle arms and lifting forward. Finding this position for the arms if it's not too intense for the hips. If it's taken away from the hips, uncross and just fold. And walk away from the ground. Take some time to gently unwind. Maybe move a little bit side to side. Move that out. And switching to the opposite side. So you're going to come all the way back around. Coming into your tabletop to begin with, and then all the way up. Shift out what you need to shift out. Find maybe some rounding within the spine would feel good from that. We've done some deep arches. So you're going to round that out, press the palms away. And then switching to the opposite leg. Left leg is going to step forward. Find that 90 degrees within both both knees. Walking the foot over, crossing in front. You have your figure four. Again, try to keep your heel in line with where the knee is and press the hips forward. You might just stay down. One side could be really tight. You might just stay down here. Let your hip get used to that. Move a little forward and back. If you're coming all the way up, press the hips forward, press the heel forward. Maybe there's an arch within the spine. I know for this side, I don't want to go back. It's a little tight in my hip. So finding what's going to work for your body. If you did arch back, find your way back to a neutral spine. Both hands coming down again. Cross one knee right over the other. Left knee over the top of right. Separate the feet as far as you can so you leave some space for your hips to come through. Again, if that didn't work, just find a seated position. Right leg in, left leg over the top. And it could be in front too if the hips are pretty tight. So you can have it down. You can have it back behind. If you do have it back behind, try to move so that there's no space in between the thighs. You're just crossing knee over, right over the top of the knee. Your feet can be back, or you can bring your feet forward. It will intensify the stretch just a little bit. And again, walking into the fold that works best for you. Lowering down. If you want to add the eagle arms, start from your upright spine, left arm in, right arm underneath, crossing here, maybe cross a second time, find your fold. Again, one hip might feel more open than the other, so you might have been able to do the arms on the other cross and this one doesn't feel good. If it's taking away from your hips, eliminate the arms. Just work into the hips, work into the low back. When you feel like you would like to come out of that, gently come up to your seated position. You have a neutral spine. Take your hands back behind. Move the legs out a little bit. Take the soles of the feet to the edges of the mat. Support the body as you bring the knees in. You might bring the inside of the knee down on each side. And then moving whatever needs to be moved there. We are going to do, let's see, make sure we have some time here. Okay, so we're running low on time here, so I was going to do a pigeon pose, so just a quick pigeon pose. Take your right leg in towards the body, extend the left leg back behind, sink down, so we're coming into a one-legged movement. Allow yourself to rest into pigeon pose. And hands underneath you. Like I said, it was going to be just a little brief. And switching, so windmill the legs all the way around, switching to the opposite leg. Left leg is in, right leg extends back behind you. Settle yourself into the center of the pelvis as you lower down. And again, hands underneath you. Bring your foot all the way back around. Move what needs to be moved. And then take the soles of the feet flat to the ground as you roll down onto your spine. Taking some time to roll out the low back. Maybe bring the knees into a circle. And then reversing that circle into the opposite direction. We are going to do a brief Shavasana for the practice today. So if while you're on your back you feel like you need to put on some socks or take a drink, whatever it is you need, we're going to do one more spinal twist and then relax into our resting pose. So starting from the spine on the ground, bring the knees in towards the chest and then hug both legs into the body as you round the nose in towards the knee. So you're taking some of that tension off the top of the hip flexors. Then keeping your left leg in towards the body, extend the right leg down towards the ground. Let your spine relax down. And using your right hand, left arm goes out to a T. Right hand pulls the leg across the body. One knee bent, opening up through the side of into the spine, to the side of the hip. And then taking your left arm, grab onto that foot, 1/2 happy baby. If you want to move it out a little bit, you might extend and bend. Just a quick movement there. Might make some circles. Then switch to the opposite leg. So both legs coming in, round it out. Right leg staying in, left leg extends out to straight. Again, relax the shoulders, relax the spine, release some tension from that hip. Right arm out to a T, left arm pulling across the body. And again, when you're coming out of this, your right hand now is going to grab the foot that's crossed over, grab onto it, place it towards the sky, relax the spine as you move through that hip, maybe extend and bend. And get out any final movements. It might be a full happy baby, around it, rock it. Getting out whatever movements that is that you need to go into your resting pose. Can feel a relaxation towards the earth. We are going to take this few moments just to rest. So allowing your body to rest down in whatever comfortable position feels best for you. If you need a blanket, if you want to close the eyes or just gaze at one specific point on the ceiling, just allow the body to release. Let everything be heavy towards the earth. Let the stress of your day melt. If your breathing has changed since the beginning of your practice, allow yourself to come back to a natural, steady rhythm to your breath. If your mind starts to wander, you can just continuously, as many times as it takes, bring your attention back to your breath. Got a few more minutes here, reminding you of your intention for your practice. Coming back to that quote, renew, release, and let go, because yesterday is gone. There's nothing you can do to bring it back. You can't should have done something. You can only do something. Renew yourself. Allow yourself to release that attachment, because today is a new day. As you ponder that, allow the body to fully feel the words, however it resonates with you. A couple more minutes here. See if you can stay connected to your in-breath, to your out-breath, the full breath cycle. Before allowing yourself to take any large movements, just give yourself the opportunity to breathe 3 full breaths. With each inhale, feel that renewal, feel that warrior within you, that compassion. With each exhale, again, let go. If it's in the past, let it stay there. 2 more times. Inhale through the nose. Open mouth, exhale. Last one, inhale. And let it go. When your body feels ready to start making some movements, you can bring your awareness back into the space. Notice any sensations within the body, the temperature of the air against the skin, any sounds in the space. If you are lying on your back, you have the option to rock and roll gently up to a seated position or allow yourself to roll onto one side. Eventually, we'll all meet in the seated position to close out, bookend our practice. As you settle the pelvis towards the ground, coming to that seated position, feel that length back into the spine. Keep your heart lifted, relax the tension away from the ears, feeling compassionate for and within the body, within the mind, within the emotions, allowing whatever is to just be as it is. Taking another inhale as you reach both arms up and overhead, placing the palms together and bringing the hands down to meet at heart center. With the thumbs connected to the heart and a slight tuck of the chin, take this opportunity to bow to yourself and bow to your practice. And I want to thank you for sharing that practice with me today. Namaste.